That was Jaylin Lane's music. 90-yard punt return for a touchdown. Hashtag he a Hokie. And he is joining us now on the Rude Guest Hotline. Rude, the most reliable heating and air conditioning products in the DMV. By the way, big show announcement in 1 hour today at 5:25. We're finally ready to make our big show announcement. So make sure you're listening in an hour. But we got business to tend to. Let's talk to Jaylin Lane. Jaylin, what's up, man? How are you?
I'm doing great, man. How are you?
We're great, buddy.
We're doing better than that call was of your punt return touchdown. That was a hell of a play. You wouldn't have known it by the call, but it was a really impressive, amazing, high-energy play. You wouldn't have known it based on what Chris Myers did. But what did you think as the ball's coming down? Is it space? I mean, did he outkick his coverage? Like, it seemed like you had some real estate. Take us through it. What were you thinking?
Yeah, man. I knew the call we had. I knew we had a vice on the Gunners, so I was like, I wasn't worried about them getting down. I was just seeing what kind of kick it was, what kind of hang, and you know, he's a good punter, so when he kicks it good, he's gonna outkick his coverage, and you know, I felt like I had space, and then if you just look at it, man, I just had to make one guy miss. Everybody else was blocked up, so you know, sure I get the credit on the stat sheet, but my punt return team, they put in work for sure.
How soon after you catch that ball and you're matriculating up the field as you're talking about, how soon after that do you know, dude, I'm going to score? Like, at what point in the run are you like, this is a touchdown? Like, when did you know?
It was right after I kind of got through that first little hole, and then I saw it was open field, and then the punter. I was like, oh, this is 6. So I just made sure I just outran. I was like, I got to hit the Jets if I get caught. Now, I'm not going to have the end of it from anybody. So,
what about the punter, though? What was your level of confidence? Because
he made a good effort, I thought, honestly.
Honestly, it was closer than I thought to him actually tackling you when I went back and watched it. How sure were you that he was not going to prevent you from your first touchdown?
I mean, you know, I'm very confident in my abilities, and like, no offense to any punter anywhere. I love Tress Way. But you know, we get paid to make people miss, and you know, that's one of the last people you want to let tackle you, especially on a big play like that. So you got to make it happen.
I'm just texting Tress real quick. You said punters are not really football players.
You can't see
Tress.
me.
That's what I prefaced. Yeah. I said I love Tress.
What is you said a vice on the Gunners? Like, what is that technique? What does that mean? You're just running them?
We got the Gunners doubled up. You know, we don't call it every play. It was one of those instances. You know, we're trying to get a good return, just take the Gunners out of the equation, essentially.
So the opposite of that, I would imagine, then is like isolation, man, like one-on-one with the gunner, and then you have more guys to try to block the punt?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, we got a bunch of different schemes, but just in that situation, even one-on-one. In my other returns, Noah and Ham, them boys, they did a great job one-on-one too. So, you know, shout out to them.
Jaylin Lane sorry, buddy. Jaylin Lane with us here on Grant and Danny. It seems to be you guys on teams are really taking advantage in terms of returns. Obviously, your ability is evident. It's obvious how quick you are in the burst, getting upfield, et cetera. But both in terms of coverage and of returns, it feels like you guys are a little bit ahead of your opponents right now in terms of that. A, is that the feeling that you have? And B, where does that come from?
I think it just comes from just our standards that we set from ourselves way back in OTAs. You know, the first meeting that I ever had with Coach Izzo he was yelling fast and physical. That's what we're going to be. We're going to be a violent unit on all phases of the game. And, yeah, even back from week 1 to Green Bay and to now, you're seeing big returns. You see big plays on punt and kickoff, things like that. And, you know, that's just kind of the standard we have for our team. And we know if we win that phase of the game, that's going to help us, you know, get the win ultimately.
So I'm going somewhere with this, but I want to make this open-ended, and then I'll come back to kind of my point. What is your philosophy as a punt returner when you're returning a punt?
One, get the ball back for the offense. That's the number one goal when I'm back there. You know, whatever happens, if a bad kick, whatever, as long as we get the ball back, my job was successful. But, you know, the cherry on top is getting a first down or any 10 plus, let's cherry on top. And then the cake is, housing it and, making a big play like that. So that's kind of like my mindset when I'm going back.
Well, the reason I ask is because, to me, a great punt returner, and it's easier said than done because there's always different things going on in front of you, but it's the up the field, no wasted movement, no like jab step, sideways stuff. I don't remember a punt returner here in a long time who catches the ball and immediately runs forward, and you seem to do that every single time. There's almost never lateral steps or sideways movement. I mean, is that just kind of the design and how it's worked out, or is that like a paradigm thing for you that's your philosophy?
I mean, yeah, I've always kind of had that philosophy. I don't want to do too much side-to-side movement because in this league, man, everybody's fast, everybody's athletic. You go east and west, and they're going to end up making a play. So just try to put pressure on them. But also, it's kind of just a faith I have in the unit. Like, them boys, I got to give them all the credit because, they're the ones, rushing the line and blocking them and holding up the gunner so I can have the confidence back there to know I got space and know that, I can get vertical.
So I got another logistical kind of return question, and I'm going somewhere with this. Jaylin, did you play hoops at all growing up?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I didn't play my senior year, but I played from a kid all the way through high school pretty much.
Were you good?
I was pretty good. I mean,
what was your career high in points?
Challenged.
Let's guess at what his career high in points in a game was.
He had a 38-point game once. That's Jaylin Lane.
I'm going to say he scored 29 in a game.
Oh, that was both close. Actually, my best game, I remember this so vividly. 8th grade, I hit like 4 threes. I ended up having like 33 points.
Ooh, Danny was on it.
Yeah, it was pretty close.
Okay.
Yeah.
So here's why I asked. There was one return where it looked like your blocker was on to your left. Okay, so he's on the defender's right side. And it looked like, so that's the side he's on, and it's almost like one of those screens where the defender's leaning so hard that you turn down the screen and went by him to the right. How much of that is instinct, I'm quicker, this guy's leaning, or how much of that is this is where the play or the return is designed to go?
I think that was mostly just kind of instinct, and like that punt, it was a little shorter and didn't have much hang, so I had to run up and get it. And my momentum was kind of taking me there. And, I didn't think it was a flag on Noah on that play. But, you can't control the rest. But honestly, looking at the film, if I go inside of Noah, then I'm sure they don't throw that flag and, we get a 25-yard return right there. But, there's stuff to learn from.
Jaylin Lane, first punt return touchdown for the Commanders since 2016. If you're looking for a 90-plus yarder, you got to go way back before that. How old were you in 2016?
2016. Hey, what grade was I in? How old am I now? I was around 13, 14, something like that.
Okay, my God. You're in middle school the last time somebody returned a punt for a touchdown for the Commanders. Hey, when did this start? This is kind of a philosophy thing, too. So I'm old enough to remember you put your heels on the 10-yard line, and if the ball goes over your head, you're not allowed to go back in there to field it. And now there are dudes fielding the ball at the 4, at the 3, college, NFL, and it doesn't seem like coaches are upset. Like, I know punters have gotten better, and maybe that's part of it, but what are the new rules now, and when did it change?
Well, it's still definitely for us. We do heels on the 8 and don't back up, but it's just certain situations. If they're like obviously like on the 40 or 50-yard line and they're in like a poop situation, then you're probably not going to get a return because they're going to be down there pretty quick. But in that situation, they were, I don't know what yard line they were on, but he just got a good kick. And, if you got space, you for sure, you feel like you can get past the 20, you might as well help with field position.
But I'm sure you see this, like watching the NFL every weekend, there's dudes that are like backpedaling to the 4 and catching balls. Or I saw one yesterday where a guy like was back to the punter, like tracking it like a center fielder running toward the fence. And he fields the ball at the 2 and it like carries him into the end zone. You're like, what in the hell are you thinking? Like whatever happened to heels on this yard line and don't go backwards? Like, I don't know.
I don't know. I just think, field position just plays a big part in today's game. And, you got confident guys back there who feel like, they can make a play no matter where they're at. And I just feel like that's kind of, I see what you're saying. I feel like it's been a trend definitely over the past couple of years.
Jaylin, how comfortable do you feel as a receiver in this league just yet? And where do you think, your journey is going to take you in that regard?
Yeah, I definitely feel comfortable. I'm definitely just trying to grow each and every day. I feel like I'm in a great room with Terry, Devo, Noah, Chris Moore, guys who've been in the league for a really long time and been doing it at a high level. So, I'm just, like I said, every day I'm just trying to grow, just take coaching points. And Coach Ingram, he's been doing a great job as well, just, helping all the young guys.
You had a chance yesterday on your first touchdown catch, kind of a back shoulder ball. Looked like maybe could have made a play on it. Would have been tough, but take us through that play. What'd you see?
Yeah, it was a double candidate. We tried to get them off sides, and they did jump, but I don't think they crossed the neutral zone. But
should have been called, by the way.
Marcus, he gave me a great ball, and at the end of the day, I got to come down with it. And we talked about it in film earlier today, but that's stuff that my mindset, like the rest of the game, I'm trying to like make up for that. I flush it in the moment because you don't want that to mess you up. I'm like, man, I got to make up. And it happened to be on punt return that I made up for it. But, that's just kind of my mindset going into it. And, next time I'm going to make that play. And that's how I'm just approaching that.
Well, the day was a net win. You more than made up for it with a 90-yard punt return.
What a moment.
Jaylin Lane of the Commanders, kind enough to give us a few minutes on Grant and Danny. Hey, before we let you go, any truth to the rumor? So the guy that answered the call when you called in, Toby Altizer, we call him Hokey Altizer. He works on the Virginia Tech Network. He's been singing in your praises since they drafted you and screaming about you. So is there any chance to the rumor that Hokey Altizer actually was involved in some way behind the scenes in the big touchdown that took place yesterday? And does he get any credit for what happened?
I'm not gonna lie, I have no clue. If you've been out there, speaking it into existence, I appreciate you.
There you go.
Keep doing it.
That's Hokies music.
That is Hokies music.
I mean, Hokie was saying every week that this was the week you were about to rip a punt return touchdown, and it took week 3, and Hokie was. You should have seen him today walking around like Vince McMahon.
He did it. You know what I mean?
He walked in with his Jaylin Lane jersey on, telling everyone, "What did I tell you?" He was doing celebration dances in the end zone.
Yeah, tell him to speak back to existence this week too.
We'll tell him to keep chirping. Jaylin, thank you. We appreciate you.
Way to go, buddy. Congrats.
Thank y'all.
All right, there you go. We're gonna put him on hold so Hokie can tell him just how good at football he is.